Said I'd mention a little bit more detail on the model progression specification. If there's any biz dev guys on the line, it's important that you understand and learn this language. After biz dev, it's really important that your company understands. This is going to replace the long-held tradition of SD, DD, and CD. That progression of drawings that you start at schematic design, you go into design development, you go into 50% DD, 100% DD, you go into 50% CD, GMP CD, 100% CD. That sort of time-honored progression that's been out there is going to be replaced by the model progression specification. And instead of hearing SD, DD, etc., you're going to start hearing level of detail. Level of detail is going to, this is the language that you're going to begin using to get everybody on the same page for BIM. And we found this out, again, the hard way, much as we did on our coordination process and coordination by location. We learned as we started doing all of these 5D projects for our clients, and Holly will keep me honest, but I think we've probably done about 350 of them. We've learned that we have to have a common language to get everybody on the same page, that the traditional language doesn't help anymore because BIM has a much different approach, a much more centralized approach, and the model progression specification is the language, is the roadmap. So you need to learn it, you need to understand it, not just from a biz dev standpoint, but if you're going to walk in and talk to an owner and you want to prove to that owner that you're the company that should do this and you know about BIM, you need to know this language and how this works. It's kind of simple. Level of detail, concept planning, that's a zone element. You can do zone element models in a day or two depending upon the level of complexity. But there's an awful lot of geometry information that will come out of that zone element. For instance, you can pull the perimeter, you can pull the square footage, you can pull the volume, you can pull the height, you can pull the surfaces. So you can get an awful lot of information out of level of detail 100. So instead of saying, well, at schematic design, we're going to give you a SD concept, we're going to be able to say, you know what, for instance, on some of these foundation elements, level of detail 100, we're pretty good. We'll be able to give you a number that you can take to the bank. However, when it gets to finishes, well, you know what, this level of detail 100 isn't really going to cut it. So we're going to need more detail on that as we evolve the project. Now we start to get into, this is where we are now at program information. Typically we get program information from an owner early on, and there's no design. There may not even be a footprint. You can create zone elements broken out by specific space identification, common areas, lobby area, hotel room, operating room. You can break those out because we know that all of you have pretty good empirical data to say we can do a 5-star hotel room for X number of dollars per square foot. Now we've got those zone elements for that 5-star hotel room broken out, and we can link that data to it and come up very quickly with a very good estimate, early estimate that is easy to evolve and easy to track. Now we're starting to get in more information, developing it, level of detail 200. We're starting to know a little bit more about the skin of the building. Going into level of detail 300, we're starting to learn a little bit more about some of the finishes. And if we want, we can go to level 400 and even 500, which is virtual mock-up. Again, virtual mock-up and pre-construction, incredibly powerful. This is something that your clients will particularly, we get a lot of this on hospitals. They want to see the operating room. This picture you see in front of you right now is a hospital. They want to vet out some of the more complex elements. In this case, you can see this was a curtain wall. that the virtual level of mock-up determined there were some significant design problems in. You can now see that we define a level of detail per stage. So as we develop, we're going to go into substructure. You can see we need level of detail 200, superstructure level of detail 200, exterior enclosure. These are so we know stage and we know level of detail, and that tracks along with how we're going to evolve our price and schedule for the project as well.